Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Capricorn. The Earth has continued its path, and now we see behind the Sun the constellation Libra. And Libra is justice, but Aleister Crowley always says there is no justice in nature. There is just a balancing out between the dualities. And so this is talking to you. And of course, Libra is Venus ruled. And the planets are here like actors of the world. And Venus is love and beauty and money. And so there is the sun's light through Libra that is giving the moon, which is now in your sign, the light. But your moon is going more and more into the new moon. And so you are gonna be arriving again at your home. That's why I place the card to the left and not to the right, right? To the left, we go to the new moon, which is a soul path. And to the right, we go to the full moon, which is a human path, which is going to your most opposite sign, which is Cancer. And so you are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the teacher, is the finger, is that, well, we don't do that, right? And so the attachment to the five senses, because you're card number 15, and this is card number 11. And it's clear, here's a 1-1, here's a portal, right? When we come in our center, we can use this portal. And here it's almost like, well, what are you going to do with the portal when you bring the 1 and the 5 together, which creates the third eye, and that's the sixth chakra, where you are liberating yourself out of the five senses. And so you will recognize the work here, right? And it's almost like Libra doesn't need to do anything. Libra has a portal in itself, has a 1-1 energy, the 11, right? And so here you are 15, you have to do work to come into the 6, into the self-love. Now the yoga position for you is of course the dancer position, the dancer pose, Natarajasana. You are God Pan, dancing through the chakras up and liberating yourself through the 5th into the 6th, and from the 6th you see the 7th, which is then Cancer, right? Which is the success, because you're the social status. You like success. And for Libra, I picked here the squatting, holding herself in her own judgment, in her own yin and yang, right? Understanding that everything has its counterbalance, and we find in ourselves the justice, not that we have the right to judge anybody. We don't know what its calling is. We don't know why he choose this kind of suffering or this kind of negativity, right? So we are here to learn. And so this is the 7th house. This is where the play is happening, right? The 7th house of partner, and this is the 10th house of social status. So you will see that here is an intricate play, right, happening. And the interesting part is Venus, that lovely side of beauty, and you know, we need money to achieve a certain beauty, but I always say you can make out of nothing something beautiful. It's just, if you have it in you, then it's there. If you don't have it, then it's just simply not there, right? And you cannot judge someone because of that. So here we have just these two talking right now in this reading, and we're going to see what's coming up today. Your court card is the Queen of Pentacles. If your birthday is between December 12th and January 8th, then she is your court card. You see her here, really beautiful and lovely. If this is not your birth date, then please look in the description. I have listed all the dates below. Back to the last reading, where you had Virgo Sun highlighting the Capricorn Moon. The message was, being the creator of a gathering with special people makes you feel whole and happy. And you see her here, the number 15 and the gathering. And then here we have the Queen of Cups, which is actually your counterbalance to the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups, the Cancer energy, is helping you to create whatever it is that you want to create, right? And so you had basically a gathering there with special people that makes you really feel good. So all the cards that I'm using are listed below, and again, when I go to the left, right, it's going to the new moon, and when I go to the right, it's going to the full moon, to your outer sign, which is Cancer. And we are picking one more card on the position of the call, the judgment. Again, judging here, right? The church likes to judge. But the 20 is the awakening, is the accepting that call, because we all get that call. And so we see what the Lifruma Healing Oracle is wanting to tell you on the position of 20. Oh, here, look at that. Look at this. This is... So the 20 brings the 10, and together it's a 30, and then the 3 is left. So we're going to see what's on the position of the Empress, because she gives birth to just about anything. So this is the call to look deep within into this X, into the 10, right? And the name of this card is Nude, Shadows and Nutrients. Now, what's really interesting, you are the darkest month of the whole year. You're not afraid of this. And it's almost saying, well, if you look deep within, you find your third eye, and this is how you're gonna then liberate yourself and come out. So I'm just gonna put the card very close, and you see now an eye, the inner eye, right? And you can stop the video and enlarge it and then read the message here yourself. The war rune, the fear tune, the battle hymn, the grim song sung too long, the war of one to be one alone in our shadows. We hold the blooded ravens fast, whisper a fresh melody in the silence, murder our crows and grow stronger. Peng's golden key of life. So this is the word here, Pengs. And I don't know what that means, but I guess that's nude. Nude is the night. And you can see it's the right eye that we see. And then the left eye, we get the X, the line pointing at. And the left is the soul and the right is the human side, right? And so, or the masculine, and the masculine is always that side that likes to fight. And so we have that one eye here. And we will see now what the message is, right? So we have a 3, and we will see what the call is, right? The deep call, accepting that call and knowing that it continues, right? The cycle continues, right? That's why I include always the last reading, and that's being the creator of a gathering with special people makes you feel whole and happy. Now I'm just seeing the green gloves here. Maybe that has a meaning, right? We don't know. Okay, so on the position of the Fool comes here the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius, and he's going to the right. As you can see, it's almost like he's coming out of the soul path into the human path, and you can see she takes that risk, she takes that step, and this is that idea of yours. There is something that wants to manifest through a Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is that, right, that strong energy that's just like, I want to have fun, I want to go and live this life And that's why he's also going more towards the sun. He's like that fire sign that's like, I want to enjoy myself. And so you can see that he's facing the right, he's facing the full moon. On the position of the Magician comes the upper world, and the upper world is the number 59. And so he is the 9th zodiac sign. Very interesting, right? It's the philosophy, he's Jupiter, he's the expansion, and of course he's not going into the soul. He's going out, as much out he can, because that's what Jupiter does. And so the upper world is talking through the Magician, and the 59 and the 1, it's creating a 60, and so you instantly have here your number, right? The 6 speaks then to you through the Magician, who is holding the third eye in between his hands on the level of the third eye. And so if I calculate, of course, the 59 together, I get first a 14, which is temperance, and temperance is then the card to Sagittarius. So be tempered, right? Be in your temperance state of consciousness, because the giving and the taking is something that we have to learn. And so the 14 creates a 5, which is then the 5 of your 5 senses, learning through the 5 senses to get to the 6th sense, to the third eye, which is floating here. And then, of course, calculated together, we get then the 1 and the 5 is the 15, and the 6 is left. So recognize that this is directly speaking to you. Going into the upper world is really important to you, going up into the third eye, because you kind of can get stuck in those 5 senses, right? And so that's why you have a 5 and a 9. That's Taurus. 5 is that earthliness, and 9 is then here with this 9 as the philosopher, and the 9, of course, of Virgo as the hermit, right? As that inner knowing. I know that I have the power to really know myself from deep within, and then create whatever it is I want to create. And it's like he's coming out of this, right? He's like, I'm jumping out of the upper world into the adventure here. And then comes on the position of the High Priestess, comes here Cancer. Now the success here, the number 7 with the 2 creates a 9. And then you have, of course, a 9-9 portal framing the 59. Or then the 6, right? So recognize that the success is something, when we go out, it feels like success. And when we go in, it just at first doesn't feel like a success that someone can measure to it, right? Because this is your success. You can tell people, well, I saw an angel, I had a contact with an extraterrestrial, I am a clairvoyant, right, etc., etc. But it's like people don't know. They didn't see what you see. And so the success of the intuition is your success only. And so the spiritual success or philosophy level, right, on a higher upper plane is sometimes difficult to understand. Only if you have had an experience like that, then you can go out into the world and tell them, well, this is what happened to me. And people are literally listening to you and they're like, yeah, I know how it feels. This happened to me as well. Then on the position of the Empress comes here the Sun. And the Sun, of course, the 19 is 1, the Magician, 9, the Hermit. You know that you create from deep within, because you just had your full moon here in Cancer speaking to you about knowing that you are successful. There is then with the 2 of the High Priestess, right? The intuition has given you here the power to be successful. and that success created a 9, and so you have a 9, but now you're creating a 10 with the sun, and the 3 above is the 13. The 13 is Scorpio, and then again this becomes a 4. And also you have a 10, of course, here, and this is a 10 as well. So it's like a 10-10 portal framing the 7. And the 7 is, of course, your counter energy. That's where you had your full moon. Cancer gives you the light for the full moon. And Cancer is going to help you here to overcome the war rune, right? This is war. This is like, well, we don't want war anymore. That kind of success we don't want. We want a different type of success, because you have the 10 and the 20 is then, of course, the 30. And so the 3 of the Empress is bringing you this empowerment here. The 13 and then the 4 is bringing you the Emperor. The Empress is bringing you the Emperor, with whom you can really like create whatever it is that you want to create, right? And so just understand the power of the numbers, and that you are called to be clear in the way you are exchanging energies now, right? With this 10-10 framing the 7 here. Because on the position of the Justice, right? Justice here bringing you the 5 of Wands is Saturn in Leo, and Saturn in Leo is, of course, your planet, and planet Saturn is the teacher, is the finger. And so I feel like you are struggling a little bit here with your 5 senses. Maybe you're having a hard time getting into the 5 senses and controlling them, and then that's pratyahara in yoga, and then finding your third eye, right? But it's like Justice can help you. Justice is that moment where you recognize, well, I feel that there is something deep within me. I'm going to give you the Justice of this deck. Justice is literally saying, well, there is a balance between everything, and so focus on this one action. Even if you have here this going on, that one action. It's almost like you need to focus on your last chakra, which is the 5th chakra, right? To get to the 6th. And the 5th chakra is speaking. What are you speaking? How you speak to yourself, right? How you speak then to others. That's creating then this little bit of a fair game or competition or a little battlefield here, which of course Libra is bringing to you. Libra is the one that is always trying to figure out, right, itself in that moment of like, okay, I inhale and I exhale and I'm in my balance. And so this is what's speaking to you right through Libra right now. So watch your 5 senses. On the position of the Queen of Pentacles, here in the center of your deck, comes the 7 of Pentacles, and that's Saturn in Taurus. And Taurus is an earth sign like you. He is the King of Pentacles, and you can see that you have a goal, you have potential, and you have success, because the 7 is then connected here with this 7. You have a 7-7 portal framing here the 5, right? And the 5, of course, if I would calculate the 2 of the, or the 11, which is a 2, then I get here a 7 as well. So you would have 3 times the 7, right? So just recognize that. So see the success in empowering yourself, making yourself really strong. Even in certain battles, it's good, because that's how we learn the most. Because here you are the 10th zodiac sign, and the 7 creates the number 7. That's the Aquarian age. Pluto is going next year into Aquarius for 20 years, and everything is going to be different from then on. Right now, it's going back and forth between your sign, Capricorn, and Aquarius, right? But you see the success is coming even into the age of Aquarius, right? And so then calculated together, you get an 8, and that's infinity, that's the strength, that's Leo. And you had here Leo, right? Saturn in Leo. So Leo is that creativity that you need to make the money that helps you to continue what it is that you want to do. Then on the position of the devil comes here the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is that connection, is also creativity, but it's also a freedom between a couple. In the Jewish tradition, you holding up 4 wands, and the couple is actually then marrying underneath that blanket that is tied to those 4 wands. So it's a high time, and the high time became the marriage, right? And 4 is Venus in Aries, right? And we had the 4 with the Sun, right? And the Empress above, which was 13, became a 4. So there's a 4-4 portal framing the 7, and you understand that your own clarity will bring the union to this couple if you are in a relationship, right? And the 4 and the 6 is a 10, so you will recognize that the 10 here is talking to you, but also this 10 is talking to you. And so it's very interesting, right? So you have this 10 here, and the 10 that is literally the dark and the light need each other. It's important that you understand that, and we know that, right? We know that it's important for us to know that the 10 is a new cycle, is a 1, and so you have 1, 2, 3 times the 1 already. And that's like the empowerment in knowing that the one and only energy that we want to focus on, which is that one wand, is always our goal, right? The unity, finding the unity in between these 2 pillars. Then comes on the position of the moon, the dream oracle. And here, this is then the number 45, repairing the veil, and the forgiveness will do that. The number 45, so the Emperor and the Hierophant coming here together. And you can see, right, that the Hierophant, the one that is also in your card, right? You have the 1 and the 5, the Hierophant and the Magician creates then here the social status, which we get attached to sometimes. And so you know that we can celebrate that into the 1, but also understand that you really are now learning through looking deep within into your dreams to forgive others is the completion between 2 very strong characters, particularly the Emperor and the Hierophant, right? A spiritual and a leader, right? So it's the religion, it's the kingdom and the clerus, right? It's like, it's always those 2 powerful people that actually then create this kind of energy. The war is always fought between the religion and the kingdom. And so the 9 here and the 9 here creates a 9-9 portal. And we don't calculate that then together, right? Or the 9 is left. But you have the 9 here that was also here in this 9 of the upper world, right? Remember, 9 was also here in Sagittarius, the 9th zodiac sign, the philosophy. And we also had a 9 here with Cancer and the High Priestess, right? So the 9, the completion is talking to you. You have a 9 in the Sun that came up here in your reading. And so, yeah, you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times the 9, right? And so really notice that completion is something important in your life right now, and you are dreaming, and forgiving will only bring then true repairing of a veil, right, that has been ripped by sometimes these kind of things, right? It's almost like this card is behind it because it's the 9 and here's the 10. Here's that stitching. You see there's the crossing here as well. Oh my god, I just see it right now. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, right? So it's the 5 senses that are giving you a hard time, and the 5 senses are needed to be brought together when we forgive. Then on the position of the sun comes here the number 2, the south, the adventure. And the sun is bringing you the light, bringing you, of course, also on the Empress, the light to be like clear in what you want, because then it's the 13 and the 4 is left, right? And so the 19, the 10, and the 2 is a 12, and then that's the 3. And the 3, again, is the Empress. The Empress is someone that is really giving birth to everything after you have repaired the veil between this and the other world, the world of war, the world of darkness, the world of attachment. Then you can help others to liberate and to create here a sense of adventure again in the world, because then you get the clarity, you get the 3, you get the healing, right? And you notice that the 3 is always something where we find in the 3 the new one, because 2 people come together, they give birth to the child, and there are 3 people, right? But it's a new child. On the position then of the world comes here the 4 of Swords, and that's Jupiter in Libra. And Jupiter in Libra is talking about Libra bringing you then here a bath, a universal bath, right? A bath that you then can bring to the people the deeper understanding of finding in the completion within the 9, right? All the 9s that have come up here. In that completion, finding that you have learned what you have learned in your full moon, right? You found your intuition in your full moon, in the success. And you are recognizing now that Libra is bringing you that success through the 3 and the 4, which is again a 7. And the 7 is Cancer. Cancer was the full moon, but now you're going deep within into your new moon, and there you're learning to repair the veil, learning to see that the dark side, the shadow side is necessary, because that's just how it is, right? We cannot change that. That's part of this game called life, and this is then the closure here. The 9 is walking into the meditation. Now you understand why he's going to the right, because he's going into the cosmic bath of learning that the adventure lies deep within. I create the adventure from deep inside of me. And here the 4 of Swords, Jupiter, because Jupiter is here with Sagittarius connected, is then letting you know the adventure is being envisioned here in the 4 of Swords. So meditate and recognize that your path back or out, right, in both directions, need to be combined, need to be unified. And so the whole world will feel this union of the 4 and the 3, which is the 7, which is then here the success of Cancer, right? The success of being emotionally successful, so successful that you can stop this kind of negativity, this kind of war, because as you can see here, the veil is beginning to be repaired by the light, by the union of the light and the dark. What a beautiful reading. I hope I see you in the next reading, because we have had the 13, right? That's Scorpio. Here we have the Empress and the Sun giving then here the power to the 13, the transformation, the clarity that comes through transformation. The 4 is left, and that's then of course the Emperor, but the 13 is Scorpio. So you will see in the month of Scorpio that there is a clarity coming to the shadows, to this warlike energy. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.